Shalom, brothers. Welcome back to the Set Apart Man, the channel where we talk about real discipline, biblical wisdom, and how to become the kind of man Yahweh intended you to be. Today, we're diving into a topic most men never hear about in church, school, or even at home: math literacy. See, too many of our men are out here losing not because they don't work hard, but because they don't understand the numbers. And the truth is, if you can't do math, this world will do the math for you, and you will always end up short. So before we get started, man, do me a solid. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. Hit that like button because it doesn't cost you anything and helps get this video ahead in the algorithm. Consider subscribing to the channel. And if you subscribe, turn your notifications on and set them to all notifications. And that way you don't miss out when I'm dropping new videos. And then thirdly, answer this question in the comments. What's one area of your life where poor math or money habits have cost you the most in your life as a man? Drop it in the comments. Let's start the conversation because we're about to unpack how math is more than just numbers. It's a survival skill and a leadership tool for the set apart man. Let's talk about it.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All praise to the Most High Yah Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another righteous Ruach Spirit-filled episode of The Set Apart Man. Once again, I'm back at it in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. Growing up, most of us were taught that math is only for engineers, architects, or scientists. If you could dunk a basketball, play an instrument, or run a 4.440, teachers and coaches would pass you along just to keep you eligible. But that system didn't build wise men. It built dependent men. The entertainment industry, whether it's sports, music, or social media, generates trillions of dollars annually. And yet, how many of those men who make the money actually keep it? Very few. Why is this? Because they lack math literacy. They know how to perform, but not how to calculate. They can spend, but they can't account. When we look at Proverbs chapter 19, verse 2, it says, "Also, it is not good for a person to be without knowledge, and he who hurries with his feet acting impulsively and proceeding without caution or analysis sins, misses the mark." Brothers, missing the mark financially, mentally, and spiritually often begins with not knowing the numbers. As men, we are called to be leaders, providers, and decision makers. That means we just can't rely on emotion. We must rely on logic, reason, and calculation. In Luke chapter 14, verse 28 through 30, it gives us a perfect principle. For which one of you, when he wants to build a tower, does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to finish it? Otherwise, when he has laid the foundation and is unable to finish, all who see it will begin to ridicule him, saying, "This man began to build and was not able to finish." That's exactly what's happening today. Men start things they can't finish because they've never counted the cost. Whether it's starting a business, buying a car, getting married, or even just paying bills, they never did the math. Yahweh expects men to be wise enough to count, measure, and calculate before making moves, because leadership without math literacy is chaos waiting to happen. Brothers, math isn't optional. It's essential. A man who doesn't understand math will be manipulated in every area of life. Think about it. How can you manage your finances if you can't calculate interest? How can you run a business if you can't budget profit and loss? How can you build anything if you can't read a tape measure? Many men don't realize how deeply math connects to masculinity. Math teaches logic, order, precision, and truth, all attributes of Yahweh himself. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33 says, "For Yahweh is not an Elohim of confusion and disorder, but of peace and order." Numbers are a reflection of Yah's order. That's why men who reject math often live disordered lives, always confused, always broke, always one step behind. Man, let's talk about how this plays out in real life. Most men don't struggle financially because they don't make enough money. They struggle because they can't track what they make or count what they spend. They don't know how to calculate sales tax, loan interest, credit card APR, or how much money they actually have after bills. They think they're broke because of their job, when really they're broke because of their math. Brothers, math is what helps you identify where your money leaks are. It helps you say, wait, man, I made 3,000 this month, but I spent 3,500. That's why I'm overdrawn. That's not a more money problem, that's a math literacy problem. And many men stay trapped in the cycle because they never learn how to calculate, budget, or plan. Every young man starting around the age of 14 should be taught math skills for survival. He should know how to calculate sales tax on an item before buying it, how to measure wood, drywall, or pipe correctly using fractions, how to calculate time, pay, interest, and total cost. These are not nerdy skills, these are man skills. And a lot of men, especially in my community, man, you're called lame, corny, goofball, nerd, bookworm, all kind of stuff for you actually, partaking in things that's going to make you literate. And this is why a lot of young men stray away from this. Too many young men skip these lessons thinking they'll never need them. But the same young men who struggle with fractions can't follow recipes, can't build furniture, can't fix anything, and end up wasting money paying for what they could do themselves. The world tells men that's not your lane, but Yahweh says count, measure, and build. Remember, Yah didn't create man to depend on the system. He created us to dominate and manage it. Let's be real. Some of the most math literate men on earth are blue collar workers, carpenters, electricians, welders, plumbers. These men use math every single day. They understand fractions, conversions, slope, angles, and cost per foot. Without math literacy, houses wouldn't be built, cars wouldn't run, and contracts wouldn't make sense. Math is also essential in leadership. A leader must be able to allocate resources, manage people, calculate time and productivity, forecast budget and outcomes. That's why Yah will equip men with logic and problem solving ability, not excuses. Leadership requires math because leadership requires accountability. We have to give an account for people, things, and resources, and time. Man, I want every young man out there to understand no wealthy person ever became rich by ignoring the numbers. Every rich man understands the flow of money, income versus expenses, assets versus liability. But many men today, even celebrities or athletes, go broke because they never learn basic math. They can make millions, but they can't calculate the cost of lifestyle, taxes, or bad investments. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to an abundance and advantage, but everyone who acts in haste comes surely to poverty." The diligent man plans, and planning requires math. You can't build wealth without counting the cost, measuring your income, and managing your output. Math literacy is the difference between being broke and being balanced. Brothers, math isn't just about money, it's about wisdom. Every decision in life, how long something will take, how much it will cost, how much effort it requires, is a calculation. Yahweh gave men a mind to calculate so we could lead effectively. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 10 says, "If the axe is dull and he does not sharpen its edge, then he must exert more strength, but wisdom to sharpen the axe helps him succeed with less effort." Math literacy is like sharpening your axe. The man who knows math doesn't have to work harder, he works smarter. He budgets better, saves better, and builds better, all because he understands the numbers. Brothers, we can't afford to keep walking in ignorance. Yahweh called men to be logical builders, not emotional spenders. Every man who wants to lead a household, build wealth, or walk in wisdom must be mathematically literate. So teach your sons, practice the skills, learn how to measure, calculate, and plan, because the Most High blesses men who use their minds as well as their hands. Remember in Luke chapter 14 verse 28, sit down and calculate the cost. Don't let this world rob you because you couldn't count. Man, if this message bless you, brothers, hit that like button. Comment down below and subscribe to The Set Apart Man. And answer this in your comments. What's one math skill you wish you would have learned early in life? Once again, this is The Set Apart Man kicking it gun barrel straight. Until next time, brothers, keep building, keep learning, and stay in the word of the Most High Yah.